What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with Google Pixel 7a camera tips and tricks. Now, this device has since been updated to Android 14 for this video, and along with that update, the camera app has gotten some changes as well. So just know that this video is very current if you have updated your 7a to Android 14. But with all that said, let's get started. Now, the first thing I want to show you is a quick and easy way to access the camera app here on the device, and you can do this from anywhere throughout the operating system. And all you have to do is just double press on the power button, so we'll do that right now. And just like that, we've now pulled up the camera app. So again, I can do this from even the app drawer, and if I just double press on this button, the camera app now appears. So one of the changes the camera app got here on the device with Android 14 is that there's now a new way to switch from photo to video modes. So you can see down below here, we have the photo mode currently selected, but we can then tap on the video camera here to switch over to video mode. You can also see once making that change, everything on the bottom slider is now related to video. And then the other way around, when we go back over to photo, all of these options are related to taking photos. So I do think that is a really nice change, and it does make a lot of sense. But before I get too far into giving you a tour here of the camera app, I do want to explain to you what all the various cameras here on the device do. So the camera up front here, of course, is the selfie camera, and that is 13 megapixels. Then on the back of the phone, we have a dual camera setup with a 64 megapixel main camera and a 13 megapixel ultra wide angle camera that can capture images up to 120 degrees. And then with this device, we do have portrait mode for both the rear and front cameras, and then we are getting 4K video recording with the front and rear cameras as well, with 4K 60 with the rear camera and 4K 30 with the front-facing camera. And then back over to the photo mode here, we do have the option to switch over to the ultra-wide camera by tapping on 0.5. And as you can see, after making that switch, we're able to fit a lot more content into a single frame here. And then there's also an option here where it says 2 to switch over to 2x zoom, but keep in mind that this is digital zoom, and there is no optical zoom camera here on the device. Now, fortunately though, the 2x zoom does work really well, even though it is digital zoom, because we are getting that 64 megapixel camera. So technically, the higher megapixel count, the easier time you will be able to zoom in and have things still be in really good quality. Now, if you're looking for a quick and easy way to switch between the rear and front-facing cameras, all you have to do is just twist the device around like this, and then now we've switched over to the selfie camera. And then to switch back, do the same thing, and now you can see we're back on the rear camera. Also in this bottom slider here, there's a lot of different options. So going all the way over here, there's long exposure mode. So you can see with long exposure, it adds a creative blur to moving subjects in various scenes. So you'll be holding your camera still, and then when a moving object goes by, it'll give it a nice blur. Now in my office here, I can't really test that out very well, but just know that feature is there, and you should certainly try it out. We can also go over to portrait mode to get those nice blurred out backgrounds. I know many people are a big fan of that. Then we're back to the standard photo mode. There's also night sight. So if you're in low light situations or even complete darkness, night sight will do a great job at kind of balancing things out and hopefully making your images look a lot better. There's also Panorama, which is pretty self-explanatory. Basically, you can take a panorama photo by stitching together a bunch of different images to give you one long photo. There's also Photosphere. So with Photosphere, you can basically create 360 images. So this is a really cool one. It's actually been with Android for a long time. And again, this is kind of tough to do here in my office. Now when you tap on the display, a few things will pop up here. For example, you can pick for a warmer or cooler tone. You can also pick for things to be brighter or darker. And then also you can adjust the contrast as well. And fortunately, you can also go up here to reset things back to the default levels. Now there is a hidden menu here, so if you swipe up, you'll see a lot of different options. So the first one here is the flash. So you can have the flash be on auto, you can have it be off at all times, or have it be on every time you capture an image. There's also Top Shot. So basically with Top Shot, the Pixel will include a short video to capture more of the moment. Pixel will suggest frames that are worth saving, and you can also select your favorite frame. So kind of similar to live photos on the iPhone. There's also a timer, so no timer, 3 seconds or 10 seconds. And then also an option for the aspect ratio of your images. So you have the choices of 16:9 or 4:3. So 4:3 is typically what people use when capturing images, but then 16:9 is probably better typically for thumbnails, for example. Now then from here, there is an option for more settings. So if you go there, there's a lot of different things you can configure and kind of sort out here. So the first one is location data. So if you do want your location to be connected to the photo in the metadata, you do have that option. There's also the option to turn off camera sounds. So right now, if you tap on the shutter button, it does make a sound. So if you don't want that, you don't actually have to have that. You can turn that off. Now there's also Google Lens, but what's interesting is that with Android 14, or at least this version of the software, they've seemed to have removed Google Lens from the actual camera app itself. Instead, to access Google Lens, you do have to go down to the search bar here on the home screen and then tap on the camera icon. So Google Lens is really cool. You can use it to identify different objects. You can also use it for translations and QR codes and those various things as well. So for this demonstration, I'm going to take a photo of this box and then identify what it is. And you can see that it did identify that this is a Google Pixel 7a box. But going further into the settings here, there's some other options such as gestures. So if we go here, basically you can use the volume keys as a shutter button. So we'll do a demonstration of that right now. So by using the volume key, you can see there, it does indeed capture the image, but there are some other ways to customize that too. So heading back over to here, you can see you can pick for the volume key to act as the zoom instead. So we'll do volume up to zoom in, and then volume down to zoom out. And then if you zoom out all the way, it'll take you over to the ultra-wide camera. And if you want the volume key to function as an actual volume key, you can configure that as well, or you can have it be completely off and do nothing. We also have frequent faces, so when you take top shot photos or touch and hold for top shot, frequent faces prioritizes the people you photograph most, so that might be worth trying out and experimenting with. Also under advanced here, we have even more options. You can see here that the phone will warn you if the lens seems to be a bit dirty. You also have the ability here to capture photos in RAW. You can also pick if you want your videos to be taken in an efficient format. And then also when you're using the timer, if you don't want the flash on the back of the phone to basically pulse, then you can turn that off. There's also framing hints. So if you enable this, you'll get some different things such as a leveler, for example. You can also add a grid if you want. So you can do 3x3, 4x4, or the golden ratio. So a lot of different grid options. So it really kind of depends on what you know when it comes to photography, on if any of these grids are even helpful to you. But I do like that they give us quite a few different options there. Now, if you don't want manual controls to be an option, you can disable those. You can also pick the camera photo resolution. So you can do full resolution, which is the default, or medium resolution, which will save you some storage space. And then under video, you can turn off video stabilization from here. But then heading over to video mode, we have some other options as well. So one of them is cinematic pan. So it'll slow down your phone's panning movements, which is great for professional looking cinematic shots. We also have an option for slow motion. So a lot of different slow motion abilities, and then also time lapse. And then also under video, you can go here to select various resolutions. So if you want to do 4K instead of 1080p, you can do that. You can also change the frames per second. You can also have the flash be on at all times when capturing a video. And then there is an option here for speech enhancement. Basically, it'll cut out some various background noises, so that'll focus just on your own speech. And then you can pick the level of video stabilization that you do want right from here. But this concludes my video on camera tips and tricks for the Google Pixel 7a. I hope you enjoyed this video and most importantly, learned something new today. But if you did, definitely give the video a thumbs up. But this is Kevin here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.